I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know we start on 6. They start getting antsy. I don't start at 6.
We got places to be.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Caucus?
Here.
Ms. Tazio? Here. Ms. Kelly? Here. Mr. Farrell?
Here.
Mr. Lovenstein?
Here.
Mr. Shapiro?
Here.
Mr. Murray?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Baisler?
Here.
And Mr. Andrews? Here.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act and given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, post on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2024. And 2, email to the retrospective courier post on January 5th, 2024. We do have first reading, and I brought this up a little earlier. I'd like to do this tonight just to get it over with, only because of the complaints that I know Ms. Kelly's been getting. I know that the police are aware of this, and this will help them out, I hope. So, for everyone, the planning board, as part of the planning board application for Faisal, the cannabis dispensary on 11th Avenue, they were required to put a right turn only sign up. It's unenforceable unless the council updates the ordinance that says that it is illegal to make a right turn. So this would concur with what the planning board has done. So what I'm looking for is someone to make a motion.
Illegal left turn.
It's a left.
A left.
It's a left.
Yeah.
So,
Really does.
so if you go, so in other words, when you leave the parking lot, you can't make a
You
left?
can't go through the neighborhood. So couple of the gentlemen, now I personally sat out on 11th Avenue and talked to some neighbors, and no one else complained. But it was part of the planning board's resolution. So the new planning board secretary is going to inform council when they make these kind of decisions in the future, so we can update our traffic ordinances to match what's agreed upon. So that's what we're doing. We're a little late.
And they couldn't enforce it. So we wouldn't be able to make that left, go, what is it, 11th Avenue?
You're coming out of the
Right.
property.
I know, right, okay.
There's
So
a
you make a
sign
left.
right there.
It doesn't stop people from cutting through during rush hour, which a lot of the neighbors complain about.
Exactly. So, okay, so when they come out facing Blackboard's Pike, they can make a left.
We're not talking about
I know that, but I consider that even more
Yeah,
dangerous.
but that goes back to when Chittikowski was built. That approval was done through the DOT. That's a state highway. We're talking about 11th, which is just us.
Because I know, what is it, the primary.
Yeah, we have no signal what's going on Blackboard's Pike. All we're doing is saying that the police department can enforce what was agreed at the meeting.
Okay. There's signs there anyway saying no.
But people are, they're just, what Mr. Denny has said is that they're ignoring him, ignoring it, and so that's why he's asked for us to do it, and he's complained to the police department. The police department made it very clear that it wasn't updated in our ordinance. Would someone like to make a first reading?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. So there's a motion to adopt on first reading and advertised according to law, and public hearing to be held on the 7th day of May, 2024, the meeting held at 7 p.m. Would someone like to second? I'll second. Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Ms. Tazio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right.
I'm in favor.
We have another one that's walked on this evening. It's the COLA walk-on. This is the cost of living increase. Shelley, do you want to say anything about this one? Anything I need to do?
We're just amending the figures to include all the Chapter 159's exceptions.
So remember, the Chapter 159s are monies that we receive from grants and stuff that aren't in our original budget. Would someone like to make a motion to approve this ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. That's not actually required to say all that other stuff. Roll call, please.
Ms. Tazio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
Okay. And then we're going to do the public hearing for the ordinance 2403, which is ordinance amending the code for the Borough of Runnemede, the chicken ordinance, as it's known also. We're taking all the language that say it's a pilot program. It's now the law of the borough. It's an ordinance. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
We're doing
Oh,
that.
that's next month, that's next.
Oh, is that just discussion?
This is
just
our
discussion.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get it done. All right, is there any objections to the chicken ordinance being done? Okay, so next month we'll get it over
In
with.
compliance with law.
Okay. Budget introduction, this is just for discussion. Shelley, do you want us to all start crying now, or do you want us to wait till you're done talking?
Start now.
Okay, take a microphone and please speak that.
This is supposed to be the next meeting. All these items are for next meeting.
I'd like her to say at least something tonight. Take a mic. I want people to be aware of what's going on.
Okay, that's what the introduction is for.
I understand, but there's public here, council's here, we're working hard, let's just make sure we understand. Maybe there's some different ideas that come out here.
Okay. Well, I would love some ideas on how to get some.
Well, come on,
revenue.
tell everybody what's going on.
So,
Right.
as we've discussed in the past, and we knew that we were going to have this issue this year, we had a drastic reduction in our revenue. And revenue is how we balance our budget for our appropriations. So we had a very large gap between the two this year. The only options that we have to balance our budget are revenue, increasing our taxes, and surplus, or a combination of the three. So between the
Or
combination.
decreasing costs.
Or decreasing costs, yes, which we did. We decreased our costs all across the board. So I'm sorry to say everybody will see a rather steep reduction in their appropriation lines this year. And we were already putting it pretty low in 2023. So we are reducing again this year. And obviously, we have some pretty steep costs that we have to cover for pension, insurance, sanitation, and recycling costs are high. We have contractual costs that we have to cover, professional service contracts. So with all of that gathered, everything else just kind of had to fall into line from there. We took every last dime that we could as far as revenue. We're only allowed to budget what we collected last year. So I can distribute those numbers to everybody so that you can see it's not very high as far as what our revenue came in. There was a lot of things that we were hoping.
Can I
Yes.
add to this?
Yes, he can.
All right, so I want her to at least start it off, and then I want to take, while she's saying revenue is down, revenue is part of everything, but it's not revenue like people didn't pay their taxes. It's revenue
Local revenues.
where we anticipated income from other sources. Can I bring up the concept? I can't bring up that. So for example, there was money owed to us that didn't get paid to us. There was, I'll give an example, the court. The court has lost, in the past 4 years, 50% of its revenue, while its expenses have gone up. I think council's done a great job. I think the cannabis in town is going to make a difference, but it's only just getting started. The planning board being proactive with new businesses in town, but none of them have gotten onto the tax roll. The redevelopment with the warehouse is in progress, and that money hasn't come in. But we did make some commitments to our community. We've increased salaries, we've increased labor, we've done all these things because we were really hoping that things were going to work out. So I just want to let everybody know that, I do take, I take a lot of the responsibility because I was hoping and planning, but more that things would work out better. And so some of the moves we made were based on other things happening. And one of the things that we learned is not everything lines up. As Eleanor, you should know this, that things don't always line up. While I'm really disappointed that the revenue and expenses don't balance out, I believe that everything we spent money on, I think is worth it. What we've done, I don't think that anything we did is wrong. But I will say to everyone in this room, I want you guys to know this, is that taxes are going to go up. And we, over the past 10 years, that the council that's sitting here has been in control, and even our predecessors have always tried to keep taxes below the 2%. And there were years where we did zero, there were years we did a little bit negative, we had some good years. We were always very conservative with our financing. But this is the year that it's gonna bite us. And we're not alone. Some of the numbers just let you know, and even I lose track of things, for the public employee and pensions for PFRS, our contribution this year went up to 37%. So just to let you know, in the past 10 years, that's went from the 20s to now the high 30s. So those are things that are just, we have no choice, we have to pay these bills. The court revenue being down so much, construction revenue being down so much. And then I think we have an obligation to look at our other revenues. Even though we don't want to raise costs for things, we have to keep up and do this. So other towns, I was with some of the mayors last night. I've heard mayors, so to give an example, we always talk about pennies, which I don't like to talk about. I like to talk about percentages. But some other mayors were talking about 18-cent increases. Now, to give you a perspective of what that means, it depends on the town. But in our town, an 18-cent increase would be 18% increase in taxes. That's not what we're talking about. But we are talking about, and you know what I mean. Dan's only his first year in finance, and I'm not here to say that he's the finance director, and it's all on him. This goes, what's that?
We're blaming.
Don't blame him. This all came from here. So, we're talking, and this is what council has to talk about. We only have about a week to finalize this introduction to the budget. And remember, to me, it's real simple. Our budget is our priorities and what we think is important to us. So we can change things that are important to us. That's not an issue to me. I believe in us talking and saying what's important to us. But where it stands now, our number is between a 5 and 6% increase on here. Now, just
This
let you,
year,
this year,
5%.
5 to 6% increase. But remember, just so you understand, a 1%, we're only allowed a 2% increase. So a 2% increase is about 120,000. It's a little more than that. So let's say $110,000 is what a penny is. Well, it's got to be more than equal.
A penny is 50,000.
It's got to be a little more. All right, the CFO says it's 50. I will say that it's not quite that specific, but say it's $50,000. So a 2% increase means we can only raise taxes $100,000. Now, not to pick on any department, but I'm going to bring it up because the chief and I, we're trying to deal with something. In the police department alone, we've raised costs by $120,000. So all of the 2% increase, you could argue, went right there. Every single employee in the borough, I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to be fair to everyone. Public Works has a new contract. All these other departments have contracts we've taken. We have people on our list tonight that I believe we're going to do this evening, where we're giving people raises because we still feel it's important that we have to compensate our employees to keep them here and happy and things like that. And that's why, once again, I started off with saying we haven't done anything that I don't think that is right. But the revenue side is down. Some of the new revenue didn't come in, and our expenses are what they are. That's what I need to make aware.
And I just, in addition to what he has said, I would like to point out that in the last 2 years, just our local revenue portion has dropped 66%.
What do you
And
mean by that?
that's our fees and our permits, things like court revenue, clerk revenue, police fees, just the local revenues that we charge here in the borough.
Yeah, so give an example, once again. Court was doing 140, 150. Now it's down to less than 7. That money is, and then our costs have gone up.
That those people aren't paying?
It's a combination of a lot of things. It's a combination of the changes after COVID. It's a combination of how the state has now changed the rules for bail reform. All those kinds of things.
It's not paying and no means to enforce.
Yeah, so,
before we would be able to issue a warrant for someone's arrest,
Something happened in the collection agency.
we can no longer do that.
Can't do that?
Can't do that. Yep.
So when you look at just those few items, it makes a big difference. And, while I think our surplus was still decent, it would have been better if we had collected some money that we thought we were going to get. It's not there. So I just want everybody aware of this. And I hope everyone, what's ironic is Shelley did a quick little analysis where she said since 2013, in reality, we've only raised taxes 2% a year over the past 13 years. But if you add the 6% in, correct?
Yeah.
So that's adding the 6. So what I want to remind everybody who's sitting out in the audience is, those years that we didn't raise taxes, we can't go into the past. That money is gone. So we've saved the taxpayers a lot of money we're still, the reason we're able to go above the 2% and not ask the public to vote on this is because we've done such a good job of keeping taxes down that we have what's called a cap bank, where the state actually says we could raise taxes how much? $1 million. We have $1 million we could raise taxes, and we're not going to do that. We're only going to do a couple $100,000, and we still have this cap bank. Now remember, every year something falls off.
The average cost in dollars to the average home.
We're not there. We're not quite there yet because we still have to plug in final numbers. We have some other discussions to have. But in the past where...
We'll have a figure next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and it is an introduction. Introduction, you can modify the introduction, but typically we don't. Now, if we collect money, like some of these Section 159s, that helps offset cost. You know, some of the COVID money that helped towns, that's all dried up and things like that. That's not it.
And
One
we
thing I'll
got
say
all
is,
that money from the grant.
once things are in the budget, they kind of stay in the budget. So if if we're paying for an employee, there's no, but that's budgeted. If we're paying for things, it's the increased cost. It's the new things that become a little more difficult. So I just want to be aware of it because it's disappointing, but it's a reality. The only thing I can hope for is in the next couple of years, things start to turn around and things like that. Okay? All right. Did you want to add anything on this? I mean, we weren't supposed to do too much, but I needed to say something because Dan and I have been talking a lot about this. Shelley's been talking to Dan. I know the rest of the department heads haven't really heard anything because there's really no cutting necessarily that's happening to anybody. You know, we may be not hiring an extra seasonal employee in the Public Works Department. We may be looking at some shared services in some other departments. But see, we can't count on any money until it comes in. So when we sell our ambulances to Barrington, that actually can help us for some money. When we sell the land on Pine Avenue, that can be put in there. So the reason I'm saying this is we're doing a lot of things tonight that are spending money, and I just make everybody aware before we keep going. Okay? Shall we?
I would like to clarify that there are, as of currently, quite a few cuts across all expenses that are department. But we did meet and talk about that with the department.
They're not huge. It's not like we're not eliminating a salary, right?
No, not salaries,
Yeah.
just other expenses.
Yeah. Okay. So budget introduction will be next week. That'll be finalized in the next 7 days. First reading of the capital ordinance. Now, once again, capital is different than operating expenses and things like that. So we can still, our debt service is not bad. We're in good shape. We pay our bills, so we can continue to invest. But remember, capital is one-time expenditures. Community engagement initiatives, Reimagine Runnemede, request proposal. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. I see a lot of people here. But I'm actually warning everybody that any money above and beyond what we already have in the budget is difficult. And that's also why I'm talking to everybody out there. Donate Life Proclamation, we will do that. That was a request that was given to us from one of the residents in town. So I think it was a great idea. And then a refund for an overpayment in sewer, how much was that?
$331 and change, I believe. They just made a mistake when they put their payment on there, and since they paid the entire year, it's balanced.
No problem. All right, we got some business to do, and then we'll go around. Resolution 2456 is a resolution of the Borough of Runnemede authorizing the Department of Homeland Security Safer Grant application. Would someone like to make a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Any other discussion on this? No, this is just for the 2 firefighters, right? So once again, we're asking for 2 firefighters, and I'm going to say this in this public meeting. Even if we get the grant and we don't have the money, we have to be very conscious of it. But if we get the grant, it does make it easier for us if we're going to go in that direction to do that. So a grant, to give an example, that would pay for the firefighter's initial hire for the first 3 years. But then after the 3 years, we have to come up with the money. So it's hard to project where we would be, but if the borough feels that we have to do this, that's what
I'm
we're
very
going up here.
hopeful that it will work out.
Well, we'll see. We need to provide fire service, but we're not going to not support our volunteer company first. Okay? Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovison?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, resolution is adopted. Resolution 2457 is a resolution of the Borough of Runnemede, Camden County authorizing execution of a redevelopment agreement. This should have been pulled. Is this the?
It's not finalized, no. I think maybe put that up for discussion and hold it till next.
Okay, so I got an email from the attorney today. There was a couple clarifications. I think we just hold this until Tuesday. This is the warehouse. The attorney that represents us said that the attorney representing the developer, there was some language where the borough determines that the property is complete. Their language, the developer determines when the property is complete, and we can't agree to that. And it's got nothing necessarily to do with our construction department, it has to do with state law. There's filings that have to be done because the state actually has to prove the fact that we're lowering their taxes. They have to make sure that the property's done properly and all that. Things get filed. So I was in communication with the property owner. I was in communication with our council, and we're going to pull that. We're going to hold it until next week. All right. Resolution 2458 is a resolution confirming 2024 appointments in the DPW. Let's see what that is. All right, so here's your temporary employees that we have. So we have, and to give you an example, I'm going to read out the names and their salaries so you can understand why costs are higher. Public Work, Michael Hudson, Labor 1, $18.60 an hour. Nicholas Conti, Labor 1, $18.60 an hour. Those are full-time positions, right, Harry?
Yes.
So once again, full-time position, it's $18.60 an hour, plus, what's the pension payment for first? 17.6%. So if a person makes $1,000 a week, $176 gets put in their pension from the borough. Plus they're entitled to health benefits after the waiting period. Daniel Ray Levine, 6-month temporary labor, $18.50 an hour, pending pre-employment requirements. Jason Goswick, 6-month temporary extension, effective 4/8. Mason Amato, 6-month temporary extension, May 27th. And then the resignations of Mark Ely, effective 3/20, and George Kotcher, resignation 3/6. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Lowenstein, second by Ms. Passio. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lovison?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right. That resolution is adopted. Resolution 2459 in support of a constitutional amendment to ensure people's environmental rights. I believe this is part of our Green Team initiative?
Yes. Green
Okay,
amendment.
Green Amendment. I apologize. Do you want to tell me exactly what it is? So I'm not as familiar. I didn't get a chance to
The
go over it.
state of New Jersey is codifying that people will have a constitutional right. This will codify this amendment if they pass. They will have the constitutional right to have clean air and clean water. Right now, we do not have that constitutional right. So each state is being asked to do that. Right now, I think Pennsylvania, Montana, Wyoming, New York.
They may be just Scottish.
Yeah.
Okay. So just so everyone knows, a resolution is not anything of legal precedent, but we're just giving our support. Is that what we're saying?
How about you want me to read the interpretive statement? Because
Yeah, go ahead.
the one part of this is that if the bill passes, there is a ballot question placed statewide on the general election ballot, which is required to do under the New Jersey Constitution in order to make this constitutional amendment. As part of the ballot question, you have the question that appears and the question that would appear if this goes through. Do you approve amending the Constitution to grant every person the right to a clean and healthy environment? The amendment would also require the state to protect public natural resources. And then underneath, if you recall, when you're filling out your ballot, there's what's called an interpretive statement, which basically gives the layman's terms version of that, and I'll read it. This amendment provides that every person has a constitutional right to a clean environment This includes the right to clean air, pure water, and healthy habits. The amendment would require the state to preserve public natural resources. The state would also be required to prevent others from destroying or damaging public natural resources. So that's what would go
It's
on.
got some teeth in the environmental situation, because right now, polluters are just doing whatever they want.
Well, it's better than it was.
It is better.
Okay.
And
Would
this-
someone like to, would you like to make
this
a
will
motion
come.
then?
I will make this motion.
All right, motion by Ms. Kelly. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Passio. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, very good. Resolution 2460 is a resolution confirming 2024 appointments to tax utility clerk and deputy registrar. This is, and I apologize for, once again, things happening quickly. We have a contract, so the contract's very specific on it. The only thing that we did add to this particular individual is deputy registrar, which is basically a state requirement that Ms. Miller has a backup in case she's not around to do death certificates, birth certificates, and marriage licenses.
And sign for paper.
And what's that?
Sign for paper. Safety paper.
And sign for paper. Okay. And she would be starting April 1st, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lowenstein, second by Mr. Farrell. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, resolution is adopted. So everyone in the audience, Ms. Pinto's last day is March 31st. And so Ms. Higuerada will start on April 1st. So hopefully she'll do a great job. Resolution 2461 is a resolution authorizing salary increases. So this is what I talked about earlier. The fact that I believe that all members of council have thought about this, and we try to take care of the people. So we have contractual employees, they're negotiated in private, and then council approves contracts. Non-contractual employees are given either a percentage or some type of increase depending on their jobs. So at this point, everyone has read this. Is there any discussion for it? So we'll make a motion.
I have a question about the bus driver.
Okay.
If our bus is not running,
Nobody gets paid.
okay, so he only gets paid when he's driving that bus.
Most people only get paid when they're working unless they're entitled to paid time off.
So what's with the bus?
That's a separate question. Let's focus on, the reason the salary is what it is in this thing is because Mr. Wozon felt that we couldn't get individuals to run the bus for the salary we were previously paying. So this is a hope that we're going to find somebody. It's not even an, there's nobody's name there.
They need a CDL, is that correct?
They need a
CEO with passenger endorsement.
endorsement.
What is that?
They have to take a test so they can drive people around.
The school buses.
School bus. Yeah. So these have no one's names. These are just titles because there is no individual. We're just hoping to find a bus driver for $21 an hour in case anybody wants to drive the bus. You know, but you do have to have this license. Okay? Anything else?
Do you want to get the
People
license?
complain that the bus doesn't run anymore.
So every time I talk to anybody, like I ran into a friend of mine who was getting ready to retire, and I asked him, you know, what do you think about, you know, getting your license, drive the bus, or, you know, some of these part-time jobs that are out there. And Runnemede's not the only town. Other towns are having a hard time with bus drivers. So, because we even tried to go out to other towns and say, well, how about your bus driver, you know, they do Monday and Wednesday, we'll do Thursday and Friday. This way the gentleman or that could work. A lot of people don't even want the hours. We just had a plumbing inspector who didn't want to work too much, and he stopped on us. Remember that? That was just last month. So these are just titles. Okay? Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lombstein, second by Mr. Sapir. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 2462 is a resolution acknowledging the consultant name change.
Yeah.
Our redevelopment.
Mr. Passanante wants to be an LLC?
He'll be operating under an LLC.
Okay, so everyone knows Mr. Passanante. He's been working for us as our economic development liaison. And I will talk to most of the people in the audience right now. Mr. Passanante will not be going to the chamber meetings anymore, because we're paying him to go to the chamber meetings. And we did that obviously in good faith to try to build business in the town and things like that. If Mr. Murray or someone else goes, he's not getting paid, but Mr. Passanante was getting paid. You guys are volunteering your time. So while we were trying to use, we're still going to use him, don't get me wrong, he is great. He's involved in the warehouse, he's involved in La Quinta, and he's involved in some of the other pieces of property on the Black Horse Pike. He has brought developers into town to look at things, so we're still going to use him. But as for the chamber side, unless there's something specific that the chamber needs, we'll figure out a mechanism where it can be brought to his attention, things like that. You know, I will tell you, he's called me up and yelled at me that we haven't put up public parking signs and all the things that you guys complain about in your meetings, which I really appreciate. And, but, so, on a sake for saving money, and I think his efforts can be better used to get this, $20 million warehouse in,
Big stuff.
the $20 million apartment building. We're going to focus on those things. Would someone like to make a motion on this?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein. Second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passia?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr.
I'm
Farrell?
happy about that, because I like him. I like him at the church.
I don't disagree. He's an excellent guy.
He can
Let me stop everybody for a second.
come-
Let's finish the vote, and then I'll bring it up just briefly.
All right, I voted yes.
Okay.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
All right, the resolution is done. So Ms. Pasco is very astute. I come from Haddon Township, as everyone knows, that I went to high school there, moved here, and I've lived here longer than I lived there. So I should really say I'm from Runnemede because I live here longer. But Haddon Township created what's called a bid. Anybody in the office know what a bid is?
Business Improvement District.
And what does a business improvement district do?
They put someone in charge of helping to draw businesses into the
Yep.
town.
And how do they pay for that individual?
There's, let's see, a tax that is rendered onto various businesses within the town in proportion usually to the size of the business.
So there are mechanisms, if we feel that it's something that, is like council, if we budget, so say next year, we say, look, we need to start budgeting because we want a representative. We need to put it in the budget. Once it's in there, it kind of stays in there. But right now, we don't have it in the budget because we were just kind of piecemealing it. The budget, just to understand where Gary's pay was being paid from, was planning board, public events.
Escrow account.
I think it was public events
It was coming out just about.
and some escrow. We actually charge
But we had.
the
escrow.
hotels in La Quinta pay his salary. So once they sign into an agreement, we get reimbursed for his salary, correct?
Because he was designated to very specific projects. So if he was just bouncing from.
We compensate him.
From different,
Meetings, yes.
or different things here and there, that we had to cover elsewhere, but his whole title was established to work on.
So we actually get escrow.
Redevelopment itself.
So
and-
basically, he was specifically designated to work on those big projects.
Yeah, but we needed him to go out there first. We fronted him. And then once we had the warehouse come in, the warehouse then, we said, okay, you have to reimburse us for,
Well, he's just very effective.
he is.
And so we will.
So we can figure it out. But
We
it's
will
some,
miss him.
we have
at the
12
chamber.
months again. We get to do this all over again in 12 months. So
All
in
right.
12 months, we can figure things out.
I'll hold you to
I'm
it.
not always thrilled about the bids, because bids are good and bad, but I agree, we can figure out how to come up with a budget and how to pay for the marketing that he was doing for us.
That's what we need.
And he's still gonna do it for us, we're
Yeah,
just
but-
limiting it a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that resolution is adopted. We're gonna do Cottonmouth tonight, is that,
64.
okay, you okay with that? Okay. So this has another thing that has to do with the planning board. So the planning board, to those in the audience who were at the planning board, approved the drive-up window at Cottonmouth. Now, the state of New Jersey has to approve it first, so they already did that. It is illegal, it's allowed, and if everyone remembers, I guess CVS had one at one point? Does anybody remember that?
They did around the back of that building.
Okay, so the planning board approved it, but we have to, once again, council has to
Consent.
consent. Thank you. So resolution 2464 is a resolution, basically, council consenting to the site plan that was approved by the planning board. Oh, which includes striping
Striking, that's the key.
on the proposed window, which some of it is on St. Clair, which is owned by the borough. So some of St. Clair has to have some yellow stripes to protect the people going through there. So it's the public right of way, so striping requires mayor and council consent. Would anyone, yeah,
I don't understand that. So,
St. Clair's really weird. It goes on an angle.
right, so if somebody's coming out, is there gonna be a problem?
You can't tell. The way he striped it, it looks like it's all clean, but part of the land is actually owned by the borough. So what the planning board said, as long as the council's okay with it, they're gonna just fill in the stripes, so people can't park there. Well, you were on the planning board, you were there. That's all it is, right?
Yep.
It's striping on borough property. Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lovenstein, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Murray, you can talk.
He worked those days.
Yeah.
So did I.
So did
I
I.
went to the meeting this morning.
Wow. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Hero?
All right, resolution 2464 is adopted.
Mr. Murray, would you like to vote?
Sure, I'll vote.
I'm looking at him, baby.
All right, now it's done. 6-0. Resolution 24.
I just have a question on that, Liz.
Yeah,
When they initially came before us, was it always going to be a drive-up?
I don't believe so.
No,
It was done.
it was not.
That's why they needed the amended site plan approval.
They had to go back in front of the board. They had to back and advertise to the neighbors. They had to put it in the newspaper. And they had to go to the state, which regulates cannabis above us, and get approval for it prior. And they're very difficult with
Yes.
their rules.
Very.
It's even better, Eleanor, because, Kelly, because the people get it, they leave.
I think it was a concern we all had. I know that the planning board had
100%.
concern for people milling around and stuff like that. And I think this is very similar to the pharmaceutical industry where pharmacies are drive-through. And, you know, it is what it is.
It
Well,
helps.
it's not a dispensary in that kind of sense. It's not a drug.
No, but
No,
it's treating similarly.
Yeah,
Retail.
well,
It's retail.
It's
It's McDonald's going through the
Yeah,
drive-through.
same thing.
Yeah.
McDonald's, it could be a drive-through liquor store.
Yeah, well, we don't allow them yet.
There you go.
And, you know, we just had that depressing Shelley conversation, thank you for that, Shelley. This will help their bottom line, and we impose that 2% tax on the cannabis businesses, so it helps their bottom line, helps our bottom line.
Yeah, so had the two cannabises in plural, whatever, would have been up and running last year, the borough, Mr. Mary and I probably thought that we could probably count on another 80 to 90,000, or somewhere around there.
yeah.
80 to 90,000 dollars worth of revenue, which would be very nice to offset our costs.
Can't buy it.
Can I buy?
Can't buy it before.
Okay, we have one more, and this one I hope everyone read prior, but I'm going to make sure that the council understands this pretty clearly. This was a little more complicated. This is the resolution 2465. This is the Pinto retirement agreement. So what this is 63.
Sorry, 63, so.
Got changed multiple times.
Authorizing the execution of a retirement agreement by and between the Borough of Runnemede and Joyce Pinto. So what we have is, we have a resolution that council will authorize, allowing me to sign the retirement agreement. So just so everyone knows in the audience, Mrs. Pinto worked here for 32 years, and one of the duties of the clerk is to be here on election day and the primary. Our predecessors never paid Ms. Pinto to be here for those days, for 32 years. So she was entitled to comp time, which is not unusual in government. And we have comp time if you've ever been here for retirements. Typically, people in the public safety might get comp time because of the hours that they work differently than this. So, Ms. Pinto, let me make it real clear. So she's entitled to these hours. She's entitled to 240 hours of comp time. However, she had accumulated more comp time than she was allowed to cash in. So the unused, so she's getting 240 hours of comp time, 82 hours of vacation time, and 4 hours of personal time. And then the borough also has a a ordinance that says if you've been here for 25 years, you get a $1,000 retirement letter, as long as you leave in good standing and give us notice so we're able to hire somebody else. So that's that. But there's one other part in here that I want everybody to be aware of. She's also going to be entitled to, and we have some precedents with this, we now charge our retirees a portion of their health insurance benefit. They pay for their health insurance as they retire. In the past, they paid close to nothing. In case you weren't aware, they paid $260 a year for full coverage when they retired. That changed in 2013. It changed, and it's evolved ever since. So she would be required to make a portion up to 35% of her premium towards her health insurance, which would be Medicare Advantage because of her age. I have suggested, and I think this is, and Mrs. Pinto has agreed, and I hope everyone here agrees also, in lieu of her paying while she's in retirement, we're going to use the unused time that she wasn't able to cash in or use to offset the cost. It's a morbid thing to talk about because we have no idea if the math works exactly right, but the point is, it's a way of her using the time, it's a way for the borough we're not paying her, but our future will pay until she no longer takes our health benefit. Is there anything else? And you could read that.
I think you have approached the limit of what you're publicly.
I can approach the limit of what I can say? Okay. Anything else on that though? No questions? Okay.
She served the borough
32 years.
32 years, loyal.
And she was still giving me crap up till this letter.
She was a loyal employee.
Till the last minute.
She was very dedicated, very committed, and she did a very good job as a clerk.
And
So
more.
I congratulate
And
her
And
on
much
this.
You're your personal therapist.
Okay. So would someone like to make a motion?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
And I will second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Passio. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Barrow?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's go around the room. Didn't mean to take all the air out, but I wanted to give you a little cover. Finance. Mr. Murray.
The mayor covered all about the budget that we're going to talk about tonight, I guess. But no, I've been working with Shelley, the mayor, on the budget and getting a crash course in how things operate in the municipality. And we're actually going to meet more between now and next week and try to come up with the best solution for everybody. Also met with the construction office and all the subcode, I guess they're called, subcode officials. Yeah. So we met with them, and we have some things that we're looking at for upcoming projects that may be considered outside the scope of their normal work, I guess would be the best way to say it. You know, we have 92 townhomes. It's not what the guy was hired basically to do, so we're looking into how we're going to deal with that. So we may see something like that come up in the future. We're also kicking around we're looking into new software for the office to update what we have, understanding our situation this year. We're probably just going to get some quotes and ideas and see where we're going to end up for maybe for 25. With that, I'm just going to say progress. All right?
All right, thank you. Public safety.
Well, I went to the GIF meeting, the breakfast, and we got our $1,000.
Good job.
And so, yes, very nice. So, we would like to know how it's going to be appropriated. I know last year,
It's going to pay the electric.
pardon me?
I'm making fun. It's going to help.
I want to know where it's going.
Where does it usually go?
It usually is reimbursed into the lines for safety equipment.
Okay.
So as long as it goes to the first responders, either the police department or public works, but I would like to know where. If you could just let me know where the money's going. Because I didn't know where it went last year.
Yeah, Chris usually handles that, but it's always put towards public works.
Yeah, I just want to know where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think all those kind of reimbursements go back to the
Because we
departments.
actually have to submit them what we put the money towards.
Okay,
So it's always put towards that.
good. And I will defer to my report at council,
Thank you.
because it's always a very long one.
You can work on that. Public events, Ms. Passio.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, our Easter Parade is this Saturday at 12 noon. And everyone will be meeting on Elm Avenue. That's the fire trucks and public works and anyone that's riding around town. I don't know. And you guys
I apologize, I'm out of town. It's Catholic
Of course you are.
Easter.
You will-
Great Easter stuff. It's there for
Okay.
Christmas.
Okay. Anyway, it'll be 11:30, meeting on Elm Avenue, that's by the Wawa and Harry Williams. So hopefully we'll have a lot of kids out, because we have some toys and stuff to throw to you kids, so.
So this is after the
The Easter egg hunt.
Easter egg hunt at the Rotary, right?
Yeah, the Rotary is having an Easter egg hunt. They were supposed to have it this past Saturday, but because of the rain, the rain date is for this Saturday at 9:30 in the morning at the Dave Vanilla Park. So let's see all the kids out there
Bless you.
collecting all the Easter eggs. So, and with that, I say progress. Anything else I can report?
Yeah, the only thing, the reason I'm aware of the Rotary is I think Public Works is doing a little cleanup out there,
Yeah,
just to make sure it's all good
I have.
there.
Yeah.
And I know if it gets really crowded, I know the police is always have a
Now, if it
presence.
rains, I'm not sure, they probably won't have it again, I guess, yeah.
One side
It's
that they use is
It's gonna be
flooded.
nice? Okay.
One
Okay, so
side that
Easter
they-
egg hunt, 9:30 a.m., and then the Easter parade going around town will be at 12 noon.
Dude,
Mr. Wolzak has something to say about it.
As far as the Easter egg hunt, one side in front of the tennis courts is holding the water from all the rain. With the rain we have coming Thursday, they probably won't be able to use that. So there was a suggestion today that they separate the soccer field for the two age groups, leave the one over at the playground, but just so that can be passed on to them.
and maybe bring some cones out there too, to keep the kids,
And separated it last year, too.
The day,
Yeah,
I think they always have the little kids at
Yeah.
the playground.
yeah,
we'll work something out with them.
Okay,
yeah.
no problem. Engineering, Mr. Brown.
Yes, I'm going to defer to Mark.
Okay.
We spoke to the,
That's easy. Public Works, Mr. Long.
Whatever Mr. Wolzak has.
All right, we'll defer to him, no problem. Parks and Rec, we'll defer to him.
I wish I could. Some things Harry was saying, really, sports in town, they just finished the basketball championships in our program.
How'd my son's team do?
They went to the championship and they got blown out by like 30. Which is myself.
You know what though, they beat Bob Henry's team, and I said it on the record. It's all that matters.
And your son for the home and everything.
RYA has a new executive board, full executive board, and also a full slate of trustees.
It's a whole turnover.
Except the president still, Bob.
Can you send us that list? I think we should all know who the new group
I'll get you that
is
list.
out there.
Trustees and everyone.
I was talking to Bernie, after opening day, they're having a fundraiser.
Yes, they are. Now, exactly where it's at, but I'll get everybody.
So I think it's
Danny.
It's at a Bobby Race.
Bobby Race.
It's $40 for, like it's from 6 to 9. $40.
Tickets are pre-sale, so you have to buy them
Oh, really?
in advance.
So they got some good ideas
Jill
on
Giuseppe's.
fundraisers.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay.
I mean, it's a good group, young group, they're involved, and it's fun to watch and turn over and go.
You were at the meeting?
Yeah, I've been on the meetings.
Did Bob give a long speech at the end?
No, he don't give speeches. And softball's a little, starts soon, they practice and all that, but I think they got a little less from girls than they did last year. But they go through times like that.
How's their facility coming along? We'll let him.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Okay.
And the rest of the party.
Just a little bit of opening day news, they approached myself and my son to throw out the first pitch.
Nice.
So we're honored to do it, and we're hoping maybe to incorporate Kevin Corcoran's kids who play and Chuck Burns' kids who play, maybe as the catchers or something.
You need
So
a
it's
warm up,
really
we better
cool.
get
Well,
Billy
he's
in.
been working with me.
He's working with you, so you don't bounce it?
I can throw, I can't run, that's all.
We can have them do a little bit of
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Solicitor's report, did you have
I
anything?
do have some stuff. I have
You do?
more, but we covered a lot of it with respect to the Cottonmouth dispensary, as well as the.
Is there a closed session you want to have?
There is a closed session that I want to have regarding a legal matter involving the land sale that you referenced, just some things that I need to discuss for attorney-client privilege. Oh, and the constitutional amendment, which was on there as well. Mrs. Kelly, who of course left me with 2 other items as requested by the Green Team that will be on the agenda for first reading next week. The first, and this is for the scoring system that we've been talking about over the last few months. The first is regarding a habitat conservation ordinance. Dave, I believe it's about Runnemede Lake Park, specifically, the habitat, conserve the habitat there, if I read it correctly?
It's the entire borough.
Okay, gotcha, but I thought it was there specifically, reference there? Okay, we're gonna make it the entire borough. And then the second one is what's called the environmental assessment. Well, the habitat conservation ordinance is essentially to protect wildlife throughout the borough. The environmental assessment ordinance requires that any remaining building adheres to environmental concerns. There aren't very many buildable lots, but moving forward, to the extent that there is any new development or new buildings, they would have to comply with 2 major provisions. First, there is a checklist for the construction official to go through, with certain environmental concerns, and it also requires any development application to go before the zoning the zoning and planning board to include a completed environmental assessment report as part of their application. But it's a good requirement to have.
So I'll explain. So with my new building, one of the things that the laws have changed to Gloucester Township, it's called a commercial check, and it's a checklist that I went through, which made sure that I had a insulation around the whole building, that certain things were done to a certain level. I'm planting 9 trees. I'm doing things like that. It's not awful. It's typically, a lot of things are brought up in the planning board anyway, because the borough engineers usually list a lot of things that are part of our ordinance. So this wouldn't be anything that's out of the ordinance. I don't believe it would be. But I think maybe our construction officials should at least review it, so that he's aware that he's going to hand this out, and then somebody has to fill it out. But I do a lot of work in a lot of towns, and these checklists are becoming more and more common, just because, just making sure you do everything before you come in front of the board. Nothing's worse than coming in front of the board and finding out you forgot to do something and you have to come back again. So, but it is more work for employees, so I will say that it's something that has to be at least thought about to do that kind of stuff. But so all that is on the applicant. The applicant has to make sure they're clear about everything. You agree with that, Mark? Am I saying it kind of right? Really?
I'm not a planning board.
Oh, you don't do any planning work?
Thank you.
Is there any overlap with the current wildlife ordinance that we have with
There
this
might
one?
be some overlap. and we have to-
That's part of what I'm reviewing, to make sure they're simpatico. So,
And there's not a lot of land left, and like I said, the idea of what's left is mostly borough-owned land.
they're not making any more of it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
That is all I have, but I'll talk to everybody in close.
Okay, engineers report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a written report. I will have one by next council meeting, but just to update you on things that have happened since last month. Today, we received bids for the NJDOT 2023 project on Payne and Harding. You have a few options. One we're hoping to do is award the base bid and an add alternate bid. It would require Shelley to come up with $19,000. If we just do the base bid, you're going to lose out at least $35,000 in grant money. So it's better if we can get the add alternate.
So you hear what he's saying? If we don't spend the money, we have to give it back to the state. So it's better to put the 19, but we are doing it in our budget. I think we've got that capital. So we would just either use money that wasn't spent last year or this capital.
And I will get that.
And we always plan.
I think we do plan for that. I mean, is there no objections? That's what you want to do?
Yeah, so I will
Because
get.
Payne, that's in terrible shape down there.
So the base bid was Payne Avenue from Crescent to the intersection of South Payne. And then add alternate one was for, Harding from Schubert to the Mitchell intersection, including.
Oh, that's bad right there too. Okay.
And you would get 2 handicap ramps across Mitchell.
Okay.
Add alternate two was coming up with $68,000, which Shelby says is not possible. That would extend Harding up to the intersection with Patricia Lane, but we didn't have enough money to do that. So I will have the board recommendation letter out to you tomorrow.
Who is the winning bid?
If we do the base and add alternate one, it's Lambert.
Really?
And if If we just do the base bid, it would be Earl. But again, you would be leaving a lot of money to make. The third option is to reject all bids, package it with a bigger base bid. But I think you would just rather come up with $19,000 and award the apple.
Were they all at the bid opening?
That was like 4 people here. 4, I don't know who was.
Well, send it out. I think the recommendation is to do the bid plus the ad alternate and give it to Lambert. Lambert's always done good in town.
So I will have that to you tomorrow. Another thing is round 24 of the open space grant for the $25,000 is due April 30th. So we have to come up with a potential project. We have discussed in the past adding extra lighting down at
What was our original thought? We didn't have.
This just came out in March.
Oh, we were focused on the 100,000 for the pickleball.
The yellow.
And we're thinking about the
local
25.
foundation grant we're in the middle of preparing. This is the open space. They just announced it in March, but it's due April 30th. So we just have to discuss it. You can have the resolution after the grant deadline, but we should come up with.
I have no idea. You guys have to think of something.
We talked about doing more lights down at Beaver Branch Park.
We'll go to the end,
Well, probably 5 more or 4 more, something like that.
finish the lights.
So we keep extending. I don't know if it's finished. I think we gotta go.
Could we put lights down around the circle, or?
Well, I think he's trying to head that way, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So they're kind of running where the potential path could be. They're running down there.
We can start the.
I'm okay with the lights if you want to start, if you want to keep with the lights. I think they're going to give it to us, unless you come up with something else.
We have to earn it. That's a good application, and we meet with them on site and
Okay,
talk to Borough.
okay.
So we'll do that.
Look at the face.
Our office is also trying to get cost estimates to rehab the Girl Scout building. The one contractor we were dealing with backed out, saying he's too busy to do those cost estimates, so we're working with another contractor to come up with an estimate for that. The CDBG year 2020.
It's that bad?
CDBG year 2024 project on 2nd Avenue and 4th Avenue is finalized or being finalized, and we're going to go out to bid hopefully next week. I'll coordinate with Beth on what bid opening date will be, but hopefully we could award it at your May, whatever meeting date that is. So that's what we're hoping with that. And we're also coordinating with CCMUA regarding that drainage repair at DPW. Steve Bach's trying to get a meeting set up with some new people at CCMUA.
Do we have the drawings done?
We have the concept, and it's not 100% done, but we have enough to get cost estimates, and now we're getting ready to go out to bid. CCMUA is okay with that.
You think they're going to want us to pay for it, us, and they reimburse it?
I don't know.
Do you remember that meeting, what they said? What are we supposed to do?
They're to pay.
I understand it, but were they supposed to reimburse it, or they were just going to do it? Are they going to?
No, they wanted us,
Why would we go out
to
to bid
do,
if they're paying for it?
they wanted us to have our engineer design everything, because that's not what they did. So they wanted us to design, they were going to reimburse us for the design, and then there was this discussion for them to go out to bid or for us, but it behooves for us to have them do it, so we're not sending checks back and forth.
Okay. Let's get this in, make sure I'm there, and, you know, this is another year has gone by. You know, and I'm gonna take the pictures that Harry gave me and blow them up to full-size pieces of paper, so I can do that and show up with these things. It's ridiculous.
We're going to drainage.
I don't mind to say that, it was a drainage, it rained, and that's what happened during the rainstorm.
And that's all I have. I will have.
What about the sewer extension? I thought that, I'm getting all these calls about the laydown yard.
Yeah, we just had a site meeting with the contractor today to talk about the upcoming project. The notice to proceed will be issued for Monday, April 8th.
So Monday, April 8th?
Is the notice to proceed date. There is a discussion about where to stage it. We're trying to work with the Borough of Magnolia, possibly use their.
That's a great area.
So, the mayor of Magnolia presented me with the proposal. I'll take it to the contractor to see if they're okay with that.
That's a great idea. So when you say proceed on April 8th, they have to start working on 30 days within then, or?
That's the date they want to use. They're going to start mobilizing, bring in equipment. They're not going to be installing a manhole on that day, but they want to bring stuff in, start putting stuff in their lay down yards so they're ready to go.
So Beth, we get to write a letter to 100 people and let them know that April 8th is when it's going to start. So Joyce had a list of all the residents. We've already sent them letters, I think, before. So we'll just come up with another letter telling them that it's getting started so they have an understanding. I didn't want to tell people it was going to get started until they saw equipment being built up.
And then we also have to get the residents a stake and it would be in the letter where they want.
Do you want that in our letter, or is that the contractor's? Is that going to be us?
It's the borough and us. We're going to ask the residents where they want their sewer ladder.
All right, so what we'll do in the letter, we'll also bring up the stake. So they start thinking about where they want their,
Sewer ladder.
yeah, where it comes out.
Future connection.
Okay.
When are you going to sign up?
When do we want to, well, if we do the Magnolia, that would be perfect.
Right.
Yeah. Right across from the guy's house.
Mark, if I may, the start point in the directions,
They're going to start at Evergreen and Davis and work towards Hartford and Davis. So we got to.
They'll figure it out by the time they get the money.
They don't want to start on the dead ends right away until they get into what they're.
So they're going to start out on the main road.
Davis.
So the road's going to be closed, probably one lane, like we had those problems.
They're going to work with the detour plan with the police to see if they can close Davis Road during construction hours. Because they're going to be deep in some locations, so it's going to be hard to maintain one lane. So
In one direction.
no, they want to do a detour both directions, but it's got to go to both police departments.
It's Barrington and it's Magnolia.
Is that the open field on the right?
Yeah, on the right, that's Magnolia.
That's not right.
That's my goal.
That's Magnolia. Yeah. That's why the paving's 3 different color pavings. 'Cause it's-
I think that's everything I have, but you will have a written report for next week.
Okay. There was something else I was just thinking of. Who's in the roads? So how do they close Davis Road?
It's up to them, and the police.
How do people get down? Because they're all dead-end street.
Well, they're not going to close it all at once. There's going to be access to certain points. It's just where the thing will be a hard closure. It'll be open to local traffic only to a certain point. But it's all going to be approved by the police.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Very tough. Okay. Who's next? Harry, you want to follow up?
progress.
Okay.
A couple of things to report on. We had the fields all groomed up. We've been working on them. Unfortunately, the rain has set us back because everything we did didn't get the pack in and settle, so we're back to zero again, working on the fields with some major washout. So, yeah, the fields took it hard.
There was puddles that I haven't seen in sections since I've been here, and it was crazy. The senior field on the first big side towards the pitch now was flooded crazy.
So, and going back to girls softball building, yes, it's bigger than what it is. The professionals from outside, the insurance adjuster has been there waiting for his report back. The architects and I have been there with the engineer, architect. They're preparing a report. They already had some feedback from the contractor that was there, but he has too much other work going on to take that on. So hopefully we can get another contractor that can
Do we have
come
a
in.
design with a blueprint showing, like putting a header in, or what do we have? Is there missing footings?
That is being worked on by the architects.
Okay.
Okay. Scout building installation is scheduled for next week, followed by purchase order. Well, actually, finally got final quotes for the drywall, so that will be processed in the next 2 days, and getting that guy to immediately come in after that for the drywall and the scout building. One of the things, we've had flooding majorly on Bowers and Reed Avenue, or should say Oakland and Reed. We did a little bit of prep work prior to the storm on Bowers Avenue, and we reduced a lot of the flooding into that area. So with the proposal talks and with the engineers on some of the work we got coming up for Bowers Avenue and the ball field, we should be able to keep eliminating some of the major flooding in those
Did
areas.
Oakland still flood?
From Val, were you flooded out completely again?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. We tried reducing it, and we had a lot of areas that people gave us great comments back that it was only at the curb line, but not as severe, but that area is definitely a valley where you're at.
Yeah.
But we're trying everything we can to reduce everything. RC Park is completely cleaned up. And we'll be removing the blocks for complete access for the RC Park, just so that's all done. Other than that, Public Works will be sending out pothole, again, to work on potholes. Mitchell Avenue, we will be doing hot patch in the sections that keep peeling up with the pothole repairs, the cold patch and so forth. So we'll be working on that itself.
Is the crew able to zip yet? Are they able to-
Not at this time. Trying to work on it, but we will be working on it. With that, I do thank you. I'd like to thank Mayor and Council for the appointments tonight for the 2 full-timers and the reappointments. And with that, without having to go out with the reappointments or retraining, that's going to help us with the mayor's suggestion for the paving aspects. So thank you again. Other than that, progress all over the place on all of our buildings and so forth. We did have reports of leakage in the library. That's being addressed from the heavy rains. Storm drains, we're working with Bach for a couple of the sections for slip lining, so that's going to be grouped together. We did look at all outfall pipes and all that. Today we had some scouring, so we will be addressing our outfall pipes throughout town. So it's just with everything, we're trying to keep ahead with it. We are moving ahead forward.
We can do both those slip linings together.
That's what we're working on, doing, put it together so we can get a better price.
We've already given that woman notice that she's, Dan, that she's on her own risk. Okay.
And we've tried multiple
What's her house place?
times. We sent a certified letter, we tried everything.
Library is, what, windows, leaking around there?
Yeah, leaking around windows, it's the flashing with the block work and so forth like that. Some of the caulking could come out and so forth, so we'll look at it and have it addressed. And then the inside has sheet rock wet, so we'll peel that out and have that replaced.
Oh, where's coming there tomorrow?
We will have a couple of contractors so we can get the best quality pricing.
Thank you. Chief, what did you have?
I'm good.
Shelley, anything else? You're on my list. Okay. Payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Longstein, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Paxton?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray? Bye-bye.
All right, the bills should be paid. Good and well for this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come on the microphone and state your name and address. Seeing no one?
Good evening. Nick?
Yeah, just hold it till it turns green. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My name is David Steinberg, I live at 825 East Clements Bridge Road, apartment 313 in Runnemede. We wanted to talk to you about the New York Festival that Reimagine Runnemede is planning. We submitted a lot of information to council, also to Shelley as well. And so we'd like to talk a little bit about it. Ken, would you mind?
Can I make it simple? Because you just need money, right?
Yes.
So we have, if you remember, when John was here, we started putting money away, and we have a little bit less.
Okay.
But it's up to you, it's council's decision, but if this is our big project, we have $5,000 that's budgeted in the budget currently. We could give you 5,000, does that get you closer to where you want to be? I mean, unless everyone's supportive about this, Dan, you have any objections to this?
Tell me exactly what it.
Well, the county's given 7,500.
Correct.
And then there's some other additional costs, and it was all broken down here, if you want to look at it. This festival that would be happening, advertising, all the kind of stuff. So the county's grant, and then this is where the money's going to be spent. But the way I look at it, if we're going to continue to support art, this is our group, and if this is your project, now granted, the chamber business money, we grab from another pot, a little bit over there. But unless there's any objections, I mean, Shelley, you want to add anything?
Yeah.
What did typically get charged to this fund last year? I mean, there were some years we didn't charge anything to it.
Yeah, there was always things charged.
Some small,
to it,
yeah.
But it's
Right,
arts and
right.
beautification.
Yeah, this was,
But that would be the entire budget for that.
yeah, so it's the whole budget,
So that's it. There
but
would
it's
be-
your thing as opposed to some, like you remember the year we did St. Teresa's. right? We had a little money we threw into the, what did we pay for the paint at St. Teresa's? You know, we did the work here in the Borough Hall. You see, we put some more stuff up in the Borough Hall, did you notice?
I have not walked on that.
There's more stuff up. I am proud of you. Well, Miss Bowers gave us a tapestry, so we got that installed. And what else? A few other things.
We
Let's get
did
into it.
mention that we were going to do a resolution when this was brought up in January for details.
Well, I mean, so the only thing we could do, I mean, I don't think
One of the things that
objections.
Yes, so the way that I'm understanding is the county gave us money, which now works as sort of like seed money for what we're.
Now that's directly to your 501c.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. So what we were initially asked was for the town council to just pass a resolution in support of the Mural Festival, because that helps us with going around and finding additional sponsors.
To make up the difference.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so part of
I don't see any objection. I think what Shelley was trying to get is the more you give us details, and like you said, even if it's a, you know, a brochure that says everything, sponsors and partners with the Camden County Board of Commissioners and
Yeah, so what we.
Borough Council.
Yeah, we supported a copy of the grant application that we applied from the county, and then we also put down a breakdown of what we would do with the additional funds.
Yeah.
If we were able to get them, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 100% there, but that's why I started the meeting off with a little bit.
Canvas fortune, we missed that part.
Good. Good. But there is money, like I said, we keep trying to keep the money in there. We've moved it a little bit, but we've still kept money into arts and, like in Patty's public events, certain things can qualify back and forth. We move things around over the years. But I think if the 5,000 gets us an event, because the Pipe Jam is really kind of the chamber, and you're partnered with Barrington now, right?
Well, yeah, they're helping us.
Good, because, yeah, I was with him, and he really doesn't like that guy. The other one, so. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with this? I just think that what we'll do is we'll do a resolution next month, and we're done with art for 12 months. And
There you go.
Well done, funding out of the.
it's fun.
Yeah, one of the things that I've always felt, you know, having worked in public art for over 40 years now, when I see the way that artists stretch the money,
Yes.
and as opposed to other places that the government gives money, you know, like, you're not getting, you know, a toilet for
Yeah, you
$50,000,
can't stretch
things
it.
like that, you know, it's.
It's nice that the county does this. I mean, I think it's great. I think, you know, partner with them. You see they're giving us recreation money, so we do work together. But no, I think this is something that you're going to really promote it. It's going to give the town, right, a light on the town again.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the most important thing that we're focusing on with this is really to engage the community. Because when we did Yulia's mural that's down at Caucus, we had 87 people
Including 6 kids.
Yeah, come out and paint. And we had a lot of people showing up afterwards, and they were like, oh, there's nothing left to paint. They were very disappointed. So it was amazing to see how many people wanted to come here.
We're getting to pay to paint. Maybe that's weird.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, if there's no objections, I mean, you know, just to remember, when John was here, we talked about, you know, helping in this art to help improve our community, and I think it's made a difference. And I think we have to keep doing it, you know, at least what we can. And maybe find other forms of you know, sponsorships and donations and stuff like that.
Yeah, all of it sort of works together. So we get money from the county comes from the state arts council.
Oh, it doesn't come from the county?
Yes, it comes from them. And then the county is the re-granting.
Okay, so they get the funds and put it in.
Exactly. So the more that, that's basically creates the seed pool that then all the arts nonprofits then can go out and reach. And it's sort of like a certification.
Okay.
It's a goodwill gesture that, you know, we are approved by the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. They looked at what we've done, we're respectful. There's a lot of peer reviews to even get that money. So it's an achievement that we get.
I think it's great. It's fantastic.
Thank you. And,
Okay.
yeah, and we've been here for going on 5 years, and I total up, we received $31,500 from grants that have come from the State Arts Council. So we're doing a good job
That's
for a
nice.
small town.
That's good. Okay. All right. And you know, and when you get to walk around, there is a wall for the green team now, and we can do art on those. So we're starting to fill the walls up. So if there's anything you want to bring here, saying about all those grants, it's something to communicate. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Kevin. Anyone else?
Hello. Kathy Walker, with Runnemede, New Jersey.
That's good, you're over.
I'm trying. All right, so hi everyone, I wanted to talk about the Quick Jam.
Yes.
And so, it's going great, working with Kyle, he's awesome. Everything's going smoothly, we're working on our sponsorship. So there were 3 things that I thought we could talk about. So first is a banner over Clemens Bridge Road. So remember back in October, our event wasn't as busy because people said it wasn't marketed and it wasn't advertised. So we felt like part of that was because we didn't do that banner.
Do we have one from last time? Do we have the existing?
We don't have the existing banner, but we need a new one anyway, because we have a new date, we have a new name, we
You
can get
design it
new-
in such a way you can reuse it,
Yes.
if it lasts.
Yes, well, we're gonna do that for next time.
Okay.
We wanted to do a little bit different, is we were gonna put up a banner with all the information about the event and our donors, and then keep that up for a month. So we would put it up like April 10th, and that would go to May 10th. And then after the event was over, do another banner thanking all our sponsors. So we have some bigger sponsors now.
Can I make a slight change suggestion? Instead of putting the banner over Clemens Bridge Road, what do you think about the pylon sign that's in front of the Harry Williams building? There's 2, the sign is elevated and has the list of all the stuff that goes on there. So there's enough room in there to maybe, because that's the Black Horse Pike.
Yeah.
What do you think about putting it there? Then you don't have to use a bucket truck. People are going very slow by there, and I'm a sign guy, and I think that might be more visible, or on the grounds at where the event's going to happen.
So is it, so let's say you're going down the Black Horse Pike.
So if you're
Is it gonna
sitting,
face
so
this?
picture the Wawa sign. Where the Wawa sign's racing high,
Yeah.
there's 2 poles. I'm just saying, we have the same thing across the street, it says, welcome to Runnemede, and you could put it there. Or you put stakes in the ground and stretch the banner on the ground, out on the grassy area. Only because I don't know, it's more work for them, it's up in the air, and it's not at the location of where the event's
We
happening.
don't have a bucket truck, we rent the.
No, we rent the car.
The fire company has the fire truck.
On the Black Horse Pike, yes, on Clemens Bridge Road, no.
Well,
No, we don't get whatever. They don't drive down Clemens Bridge Road.
well, part of this, my next thing was also we were gonna do big signs, 4x4 signs.
Well, that's,
So I was thinking we could put one, a 4x4
Yeah.
sign at the Harry Williams building, or like.
that's,
Company.
I agree.
Yeah, and then another, so we were gonna do 4x4 signs.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so then, we could then do that and.
You can, this is just a lot more work. It's the cost of the banner, it's the labor and things like that. And it's just a much higher, and once again, your volume of cars is so much
I don't
smaller on
think-
Clemens Bridge Road.
That sign
It does work.
on Clemens Bridge Road, is that visible for?
Does a little, does a little.
I mean, we did get a lot of people, that was one of the biggest events for the October event, that it wasn't promoted well.
There's so much on that thing, it's
You'll
hard to
complain even when you
distinguish.
promote it well.
Well, I think we had to
Well,
keep
there
it
was
separate.
1,000 people left,
Right.
less, there was 1,000 people left at our October.
Really?
1,000 people less at our October.
What was the other number?
It was like 2,000, and then it was like 1,000, it was like almost, it was.
2,000 people came to the first one, 1,000 people.
Yes, yes. And I mean, it could have been other things too, but that was. what-
Timing.
So many people
Yeah.
always say,
Say, oh, we didn't even know about it, and so I don't know if it was all of that, but.
Marketing is-
And they kind of marketed it to the sponsors that way.
One second, Pat, didn't you put up the banner last time? With the
Yes.
fire truck? Yeah.
put up the yard sale banner.
Yeah, you just have to thank the fire company.
Oh, I do.
And
Thank you,
support the
Beth.
fire company.
Yes.
Okay.
And are you?
I don't think we have any opposed to it, we're not gonna get permits, so.
Okay.
Where would you put the 2 though?
So then after the event's over, May 10th.
Oh, then you
we're
put
gonna-
another
then
one
we'll put
back
up a
there.
Thank you to our sponsors, and it would have just all. the
Whatever you want to, I
sponsors
don't think it's a
that
big
we
deal,
have.
right?
Hey, the fire company are doing it. Do you
Yeah.
think it's a big deal? Are we taking you away from fire?
No, they're volunteer. They're good men.
Okay, all right, and then I'll give us signs, big signs, so we want to really promote our business.
Yeah, just be careful where you dig.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'll have to figure that out, okay.
What about public works? Can we put in?
Another
Should be on
thing,
public grounds. Club's not public grounds.
on public ground,
So public, you should put it at the Harry Williams building, in front of maybe the Borough Hall, we can put it on the electronic message board,
yeah.
you know, I mean, even the, you know, the point is a great, you know, those are our
Oh,
land,
yes,
the
okay.
borough's land.
Like where, Captain Junkies is that point, is that what you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's owned by the borough.
Yeah.
Okay, great, okay.
Anywhere it's parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, awesome. I think we're gonna have a designated bus for people in town, so that they could hop on the bus. So we are thinking one, but maybe two if we can get the restaurants and bars on board to have people go to the different bars and restaurants. So, just want to let you know about that.
Barrington runs the bus stops, and it seems to be pretty successful.
Yeah.
They put out signs beforehand that says, bus stop, and then people just gather there and the bus runs and move on.
Yeah, you have to teach people and build on it, you
People
know.
don't just tell.
Yeah, so I thought it could be the beginning of a pub crawl, so we'll see how interested all the bar owners are. But some have been like, we'll see.
So by you guys doing it more in-house, you're getting the businesses in town more involved.
Yeah, they're more involved, yep. Okay, kids activities. So one of the big comments we got for the May event was there wasn't a lot of kids activities, and a lot of people brought their kids, so we wanted to have some kids activities. And Richie was okay, and I talked to Bob Henry to see if we use the fields, the RYA fields, for kids activities, so.
The only thing is that certain things you have to run by the fire marshal. So just
Okay.
make sure he's in line, because there are certain rules.
I spoke with him today, not about that, but about Charles.
Okay, so then we'll.
Yeah, he regulates all that.
So not like a bouncy house, is that what you mean?
Do you remember we had that one year, we had the, certain things are,
Okay.
there's some rules about certain
Okay, so
things.
we'll talk about,
I don't know all the rules.
we have to, well, then we'll talk to Scott.
Yeah.
Scott knows.
Frank gave her, sold her, gave her.
Yeah, so
Bouncy house
he
already,
gave our
yeah.
bouncy house already because it was
But use it.
Yeah, we'll use it.
Yeah. Well, there's this company, they have all different games, like basketball, baseball, like all different kinds of games. So they're inflatables, but they're not ones that kids are jumping on. There's a little racetrack. I have to get pricing for everything, but we'll see. We have somebody sponsoring that event, the kids section. So, the Runnemede. So, anyway, it's been going well. Good. They're planned.
This will be the third one, right?
This will be the third one. Yeah, and the social media has been so got busy with it. Like, people saying they're interested in going. We're getting such a great response. I was planning to boost it. I don't know, these are like 2 weeks before on Facebook. And
Okay.
so.
Well, I like the partnering with Barrington, it's
Yeah,
nice.
it's
Because I know his argument to me last night was that, like, it was, you don't want to compete with each other, so that the timing all works. And
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a great partner. He's super organized, he's really helpful. And it is nice. They are our neighbors.
yes.
Great. So, okay. Anybody have any questions? Awesome, thank you.
Anyone else? No? Haven't seen you in a while now.
I just want to thank you for not forgetting us during this rainstorm we had.
Didn't make any difference. No? Was it really terrible again?
It's been worse.
Okay, so that's somewhat positive.
So, yeah, but that shop and back was going for hours at a time. Good thing the kids are getting older, we stand them there with it in their hand. Shame, but.
So we do have, like I said, you can go back and tell, remember that 77,000, we are spending it up on Bowers Avenue to try to grab some more water there. What else did you do? Were you saying, or is there something else?
But we opened up the swale.
We opened up the space, so we're trying to do some more things.
We got the slip lining coming ahead.
So we appreciate, thank you. And I want to wish you all and your families a happy and blessed Easter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Let's just keep an eye on them. Okay. All right, seeing no one else, is there anything else that we have? Want to make a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make the motion for the public portion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Passio, second by Mr. Murray. Write that down, Murray. All in favor? Thanks. All in favor? All right, the public portion is closed. Is there anything else? Yep. Oh, closed section. Okay, so everyone in the audience, we're going to have a closed session. We're not going to do any business afterwards. So we're going to stay just right in here, I believe. Sure. We're going to stay in here, and then we're just going to adjourn.
So you just need a motion to go into closed session.
That would be resolution.
In particular, a land sale, and, yeah.
So we're going to talk about a land sale.
Sounds great.
Okay?